Welcome to printmaking. Printmaking, you often think that you can go into a store and you see a print of Van Gogh painting or the Mona Lisa and you think, oh, that's a print? It's not really considered an original fine art print. That's just a poster. But when the artwork is actually created from a block or a metal plate or something that the artist has actually touched and created himself or herself and actually made the print off of it himself or herself, that's considered an original print. And when there are 1 or 2 or 15 or 150 or over whatever images created from that original block or etched in metal plate, that's called an edition or basically a run of original prints. There are 3 main printmaking processes you need to be clear about: relief, intaglio, that's the way that's pronounced, not intaglio, and planography. So let's go through them real quickly. Relief printmaking is when you carve into something and the raised surface prints. Write it down. You carve into something and the raised surface prints. Like a stamp. This chunky stamp you see here, that's a type of relief printmaking. That's an example of it. You can carve into anything. Wax, carrots, potatoes. I've done everything. There's all kinds of things you can carve into. One of them is a block of wood. This is a type of relief printmaking. You carve into a block of wood and the raised surface gets the ink, and that's what makes the print. Watch this YouTube. It will help so much. It's only about 3 minutes long. And as many colors that you make in a relief print, you're going to need that many blocks. So if you've got, for example, let's look at this next slide. Say there's about 6 or 7 different colors in this great wave offshore at Kanagawa. Hokusai had to create 6 or 7 different blocks that would work on this print before he could create one piece. Okay. Another type of relief printmaking is linoleum. There's not a slide on that. Linoleum, lino cut. It's where you carve in basically, think of a piece of a kitchen counter. And that's actually pretty soft, actually. And you create the same relief type of printmaking things. Relief prints tend to look very bold and clean, lots of shape. And they're relatively easy to produce. The second main category is intaglio. This is derived from the Italian word meaning cut into. Here's where you take a metal plate and you make marks in it, either with sharp liners or sharp like knives or rockers, or even chemical baths will etch into it. Anything that will mar that surface, that metal surface. And you cover it with ink, wipe off part of it, and the cut in marks print. So that's what it means. You carve into a metal plate and the cut in or recessed marks print. Watch this YouTube. It will show you the process of a type of intaglio printmaking, okay? This is engraving. It's an intaglio type of printmaking. The metal plates tend to be more durable than any other type of food or wood block or linoleum, so that's why artists chose to use it. And so Durr would have created the original plate that this print would have been made off of. Looks a lot like a pen and ink drawing, but he wanted to print a lot of these. He wanted it for books and things, so he needed to create an original print, an original plate for that. Etching is another type. This is where an acid is used in it. Okay, this is an etching by Rembrandt. Aquatint is another type of intaglio. It's a very complicated process, about 14 to 15 steps involved in this. But it has a definite look to it, and that's why artists choose aquatint for certain things, like this piece by Goya called Giant. It's an aquatint, and notice how that sort of soft, washed look that goes over this whole piece, and that sharp, that sort of moody contrast that's working here, that's a hallmark. All aquatint prints will look this kind of way, okay? It almost looks like this giant is moving. It's so washed and soft looking in texture. Mezzotint is another type of intaglio. Oh, this one might show up on your Unit 2 exam. Doc Thrash's Defense Worker. The year is 1941, and Thrash is an American artist. What's going on in 1941 in the U.S.? Well, we're gearing up for World War II. Now, granted, this looks a lot like a charcoal drawing, but this was actually a piece that was commissioned by the U.S. government, and they were going to use it as a piece of American-focused propaganda, sort of building up the people, the American public, to support the war. Okay, and hallmark of mezzotint prints are these deep values, this sort of gritty, sort of grainy texture that's all over the look of the print, strong contrast. This is all hallmarks of a mezzotint print. That's why he chose mezzotint as opposed to any of the other printmaking processes. He chose printmaking because he wanted many copies, or the government did. But he chose mezzotint because he wanted the look for this American worker. It's a defense worker working in a munitions factory of some kind, and that smoky texture of the factory is captured in mezzotint, deep dark values, and that contrast of that halo of smoke behind him looks almost like he's even more powerful, like he's a superhero. This is the hard-working defense worker at home. Okay. Planography is another type of printmaking process. Planographic prints. They're made entirely on a flat surface. You don't carve into anything. Okay? We're going to discuss two. Lithography is one. Actually, three. Lithography is one. That's where you use basically a wax crayon on a piece of limestone to create your print. This is the only form of printmaking where you don't have to think in reverse. That makes me crazy about printmaking, is that you have to think in reverse. Your image is going to be the mirror image of what you created. So if you have lettering on it, you better write backwards. This is the only one that doesn't have that problem. It's a lithograph, and it was used as a piece to talk about police brutality. So Daumier wanted a lot of copies here. If you own a t-shirt and it's got sort of that waxy sort of look to it, or a sweatshirt, that's silkscreen. That's been silkscreened. That's another form of planography. Watch this YouTube. You're going to see them using a screen of silk that's stretched over a wooden frame. And you're going to see for each screen, he has to create it for each color in the t-shirt, he's got to have a different screen. Okay? So watch it. It only takes about a minute and a half for you to see this 4-color t-shirt being produced. That's the silkscreen. This is Andy Warhol's The Double Elvis. This is a photo silkscreen. This too may be on your Unit 2 exam. For this process, Warhol wanted an iconic image of the king of rock and roll. I'm going to discuss this more when we get to the Unit 2 exam, but I do want you to watch the YouTube here at the bottom. This is a movie clip. It's only about 2 minutes long from a movie Elvis was making in the 60s and 70s called Kissin' Cousins. I think you'll all agree that it's probably one of the worst films you've ever seen. So enjoy.